All right, you guys, let's get this Algebra 2A exam review underway. Start out with a pretty simple problem. Over what interval, so they're telling you use interval notation, is the graph y equals 2 times the quantity x minus 1 squared increasing? We got to understand what this word means. It means as we travel along a graph, left to right, we will be traveling in an upwards direction. So first of all, we look at this and we think, hey, the parent function's y equals x squared, which looks like this-ish. This 2 is going to make it a little bit narrower, and this minus 1 is going to move the vertex to the right 1. And so here's a generic drawing. But where is it increasing? It's increasing, so again, if this is my roller coaster ride, it's decreasing from there to there, but as soon as you hit this point right here, it then turns and now it's going up. So the interval where it's increasing would be from that point all the way forever to the right, it would be increasing. So there would be my answer. Now if you're looking for multiple choice, maybe it would look like this, greater than or equal to 1. So you've got this notation, but you've also got this notation. But because they said interval, I'm guessing they want the interval notation. Number 2, I've already done it for you just to save video time. They're saying, hey, take a look at this one right here. It's y, or f of x, equals the absolute value of x, which would look like this, but they're not asking us to graph it. They're saying describe. So use your words. How this has changed this. Remember, if there's a whole number here, it's going to be a vertical stretch by that number. X minus 1, right 1. Plus 2, that's my D, up 2. So you're done. All right, so number 3, all these parts, A through F, has to do with this. So it says, find the key feature of the function in the graph to the right. So domain. Well, that's asking you, how far to the left does this graph go? Well, it gets to there, but because it's an open circle, it's going to be parentheses, -4. And then how far to the right does it go? Well, this graph would go all the way to here, which is +4, but that's also an open circle, so parentheses. Range, we always start with how low it goes, so it's that point right there. Notice it's not an open circle, so it actually gets to -2, so that would be a bracket, -2. Then how high does it get? It gets up to 2. But notice that's an open circle, so parentheses. Where are the intervals where the graph is negative? Negative means strictly where is the graph below the x-axis? Well, that would be from here, all this stuff right here. Let me get out my colors here. The negative would be everything underneath the x-axis. You got to remember this kind of tricky point here. That is not below the x-axis. That is smack dab on it. So that's kind of like an open circle for this problem. And that's an open circle also. So where's the interval where it's negative? From -2 all the way to 3. Parentheses, because those points on the x-axis are not below the x-axis. Remember that. Now the average rate of change is another way of saying slope. So we're going to use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 over the interval -4, so that's -4 comma 1. And where is x0? 0, -1. So 0 and -1. So I'm going to call this my x1 y1, call this my x2 y2. And plug these values into this slope formula. So y2 is -1 minus y1 is 1. x2 is 0 minus x1 is -4. These two negatives make a positive. This is -2 all over 4. So my answer is -1/2. That's the rate of change. Okay. X-intercepts. Well, where does it cross the x-axis? Right here. 0, -1. Where's the y-intercept? Oh, there's another. Whoops, I got that backwards. That's my y-intercept. 0, -1. So forget I said that. X-intercepts would be right here. -2, 0. And 3, 0. Now, y-intercept, we just said it's that guy right there. Intervals where the graph is increasing. Well, if I think of this as a roller coaster ride, and I'm going left to right, don't forget that's a requirement. That would be down, 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 down. Then I'd get to this point right here, which is 2. So I know it starts at 2, and then it starts going up. Now this doesn't go forever because it stops right here. So it goes to 4, but it doesn't include 4 because that's an open circle. So there's where it'd be increasing. All right, number 4, it says, what are the recursive and explicit functions for the sequence? We're going to stick with this formula that we were talking about way back when. A sub 1 is just the starting number. D is the difference. So let's just take the easy low-hanging fruit. That's the first number in our arithmetic sequence. What's the D? D stands for difference. From -2 to 4 is 6. From 4 to 10 is 6. From 10 to 16 is 6. So that's the difference. And then there we have it, right there. So this formula, if they asked us what's the 20th term, we'd be able to calculate that using this formula. All right, so number 5 is just coming at you a little bit different. We didn't cover this while I taught it, but it's not a big deal. It says, what are the first 3 terms in this sequence? So this is representing a sequence. This number right here is telling you that's the first number in your sequence. Then this right here is telling you the difference, or D, in your sequence. So every number is going to be 4 bigger than the previous number. So what's 4 bigger than that? 3. What's 4 bigger than this? 7. So it's a lot to do about nothing. It's pretty simple if you understand that this is your starting number, this is the difference between each number in your sequence. Not a big deal. I'd throw it out if it was super complex, but I don't think that's too difficult. This says use the graph to solve. Well, sometimes you wonder, do I really need to do that? So let's say they didn't say use the graph. Okay. Pause. All right, so I changed my tune. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, this equals y, and this equals y. We're going to obey the instructions to show you this technique. So this is y equals mx plus b. There's my y-intercept. This is my slope, so I'm going to go up 2 over 1. And I'm just going to do my best job, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And there it is. And this would be down 2 left 1, down 2 left 1. If I just kept going in that direction, down 2 left 1, down 2 left 1, there's my line almost to perfection. Y equals x squared, if we actually had to throw a few values in here and graph it, we'd go 9, 4, 1, 0, 1, 4, 9 if we actually squared all of our x's. I'm going to start here. 0, 0, and then we're going to go 1, 1, which is 1, 1, and then negative 1, 1, which would be negative 1, 1 right here, and then we'd look like this, and we'd come and we'd kind of angle out like that. So I know negative 2, 4, actually 2, 4 would be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, so it would actually go through here and then somewhere in here. So what I'm saying is, to figure this out and this out, this using the graph is a little mysterious. Now if we use Desmos and actually typed in both of these, and we could actually hide our cursor right over there and right over there, it would tell us exactly the answer. So let's take a look at this. So 2x plus 1 equals x squared. I'm going to subtract 2x, subtract 1, subtract 2x, subtract 1. And I'm going to get 0 is x squared minus 2x minus 1. And now I'm going to think, are there 2 factors of negative 1 that add up to negative 2? No. So here's my a, here's my b, here's my c. So negative b would be 2 plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 4, minus 4 times a times c, all over 2a, which is 2. So I get 2 plus or minus 4 plus 4 is 8 all over 2. Now we're actually looking, the square root of 8 is the square root of 4 and the square root of 2. So if I go 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 2 all over 2, and then remember the Mimi rule, we can take a 2 out of all that, so we'd end up with 1 plus or minus the square root of 2. Now if I looked up my calculator, square root of 2 is 1.4-ish, and so 1 plus 1.4 is 2.4, and oh boy. And so we'd also go 1 minus 1.4, which would be negative 0.4. These are my two x values. So you can see if I move left about a half, it's going to hit that up there. So where do I find that? By plugging this negative 0.4 into here. So I'm running out of space here, but 2 times negative 0.4 plus 1 is, and that equals y. So I get y equals negative 0.8 plus 1, which is 0.2. So my first point of intersection will be negative 0.4, 0.2. And then I got to plug in this other one, 2.4, into x. So I get 2 times 2.4 plus 1, which is 4.8 plus 1, which is 5.8. So my other point would be 2.4, 5.8. Obviously, a lot easier. Type y equals 2x plus 1 in decimals. Type y equals x squared into decimals. Hang your cursor over here, hang your cursor over here, and they will tell you where those point of intersections are. Now we're going to solve this system of equation. So I'm going to multiply this by 4. Distribute, 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 so I get 4x plus 8y equals 40. And now I'm going to stack the top one, right like so. Add these together because my x's will cancel. I get 12y equals 56. So as you can see, we're not going to get these nice, neat numbers, so we get y. I'm going to take out, 7, 8, let's take a 2 out, 28 and 6. So we're down to 14 and 3. So y is 14 thirds. Now to find x, I got to plug it in here or here. I'm actually going to plug it up in here, a little easier. So I'm going to go x plus 2 times 14 thirds equals 10. Again, I'm running out of space here, but that is x plus 28 thirds equals, I'm going to make that 30 thirds. I just made that 10 common denominators. So then when I subtract 28 thirds and subtract 28 thirds, I'm going to get x is 30 thirds minus 28 thirds, which is 2 thirds. So my answer would be 2 thirds, comma, 14 thirds. So don't panic if you get fractions. Number 8, solve the system. Looking at this, you can see they're begging you to use substitution. So y equals 2x minus 5. I'm going to put it right into the other one for y. So I go 3x minus 2 times 2x minus 5 equals 14. So 3x, distribute, distribute. Don't forget, you're distributing a negative 2. So that'd be minus 4x plus 10 equals 14. I'm going to subtract 10, and I get negative 1x, adding these together, equals 4. So positive x equals negative 4. I got to still find my y by plugging it in there. So y equals 2 times negative 4 minus 5. So I get negative 8 minus 5 is negative 13. So negative 4, negative 13 is my point of intersection there. So this problem is interesting. It says create a system of equations, should be an S there, with no solution. The only way you can have a system of equations with no solution is if you have parallel lines. So if I said, all right, this first line, I'm going to make it y equals 2 thirds x plus 6, and I take another one, same slope, different y-intercept, there they are. So they got to have the same slope and a different y-intercept. I'm going to try to keep these videos below 15 minutes because I'm not sure if YouTube accepts any videos greater than 15 minutes. So that's it for part 1.